Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Marshall Maze. I'm with my partner in crime, Barack Chidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
Yes, and he's back, y'all. I told you he was going to be back.
I'm back. I'm back and better.
That's what we're talking about. So, yeah, I mean, we had to suffer through the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight.
Right.
And I said suffer through because it was just bad. Like, I don't know what to say about it, man.
I mean, compared to how Tyson was training and we seen the clips.
Yeah, well, that's just it. You saw these great clips, right? And Tyson's like, blah, 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 I'm back, y'all. And he's doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
And you understand, I think some of those clips were for well over a year ago. And a lot apparently can happen during that time.
Yeah, but he got back into training. I mean, they had that documentary on Netflix where you can see the training of both. And then he had the ulcer. And he had to take time off.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, maybe he... maybe there was a lot of money riding on this. I still think, in all truth, it was an opportunity for Mike to, make some money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, but one thing I can say about Paul is he, even though I think he's a shit boxer. When I say a shit boxer, I think he's trash. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
About it, because he hasn't really fought anybody. I mean, yeah. Some people argue with the UFC. This guy,
he fought two boxers. I know he fought
Diaz. He fought one boxer and lost.
He fought a Golden Gloves. He fought a Golden Gloves. All right, and I think that was a TKO. He got the TKO on that, and he fought Nate Diaz and knocked him out first round.
Yeah,
No, maybe not enough boxers. I mean, you got to think, right? How many boxers are going to entertain that? They can talk on the sidelines because they make money in the.
That's what I'm saying. Right? I mean, like,
and he's making money where he is. I mean, and the average MMA fighter is not making nowhere
no. But that's
close.
what I was about to say is that he's tapped into what. Listen, it's what we see all the time when we always clown it, right? In the martial community, because all of this stuff goes back to our martial arts, right? We always clown those dudes that do the punching, the kata, they be kicking and they do all the fancy flips and they do these katas that just came from nowhere, right?
Right.
But those are the dudes working in stunts. Those are the dudes who make the movies. Those are the dudes who get paid.
They give you the action.
They give you the action, but they ain't real fighters.
No.
And in most martial arts, we look at those dudes and we're like, they ain't real fighters.
Right.
Who they fight? That dude just does kata. You know what I'm saying? And he don't even do traditional kata.
Right.
He do, wait a minute. At what martial system do you have a samurai sword in one hand and nunchaku in the other and you're spinning them around?
It's a damn mess.
Yeah, right? And it looks goofy and it's funny.
Right.
But that's what inspires. That's what people go to pay for. That's what people go to see. It's Flash. Right. So what I was going to say is Paul's tapped into Flash. He understands, listen, if I train and be this real boxer, I might never make it. It's kind of what Dana White was talking about back in the day. It says Dana White once here, and I'll find it so I can play it. But Dana White once had talked about what happened if Ali had fought Frazier at the time they were supposed to fight in the prime. Would it have been a different fight? You know what I'm saying? How about, and so what in the UFC, here's the number 30th guy. And here's the number one guy, but that number 30th has a hook that could beat that number one guy.
Right.
Let's get these two guys to fight.
Fantasy fights.
Well, this is it. Yeah, we're gonna give you a fantasy fight, right? So I think Paul
Dana tapped into that.
Yeah, he understands the hustle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. But for those like myself who absolutely loves the martial system of boxing, the sport, whatever you want to call it, I still think it's a martial art. But it was like a smack in the face the whole time. I mean, I was getting hit so hard I was spitting like in Rocky.
Oh my!
Like it was just bad. Like it was like Mike was Mike for like 1 minute. Mm-hmm. and then Mike was old.
That's why people thought it was scripted. That's the point.
Well, no, but
it got debunked, but people thought it was scripted.
But the reason why I say anybody who's ever been in a ring, and I learned this the hard way, right? I was talking about this. I said, listen, back in the day, fighting black belt elite, going to a big tournament where you have a big pool, you're fighting a handful of times. Anybody who's ever wrestled understands that too. Anybody who's done any sport where you have to have a lot of endurance understands that.
Yes.
I've never fought as a boxer per se, but I've been in the ring. I've sparred with boxers. I've been, I guess I would say the whooping post, you know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Hey man, I need you to feint this and stuff like that. You still get in the ring. And I can tell you 3 minutes, hell, shit, a minute with a guy pounding on you is a long damn time.
Oh, yeah.
3 minutes
Time
is
is
forever.
not the same.
Yeah, and it's not the same. It's forever when you're in the ring doing that. So that part I completely understand. Which is why I said, well, age, and this is kind of what this episode's going to be kind of themed around. Sometimes we always say age is a number in the martial arts. There's only a number, but I'm thinking no. I'm thinking, listen, there's a reason there's a reason we have weight classes. There's a reason why we have age divisions and stuff like that, depending on your martial system. I could tell you right now in judo they have two things. You've got veterans, and then they have just everyone else. The elite. And stuff like that. Veterans is for all the boys that still got it, but they don't got it like that. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. They used to call it the masters, and then they changed it to veterans. And it makes sense. But you still see some of these guys, they're still amazing. They're still tip-top competitors, but they're just not doing it. Some of these guys are exceptions, and again, those exceptions don't make the rule, but they're just not. That you get them with when you get them with a 21-year-old with that skill level, the age shows instantly. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be the fitnessing you, this, that, and the third. I mean, so case in point. Now we circle back to Paul, who I still think I think Tyson has an amazing punching power and stuff like that, because even the glancing thing seemed to bad, and Paul was like, none of that there, and stayed just far enough away from him just to pepper him all day. Mike didn't have the legs. His legs were gone. You know what I'm saying? His legs were gone, and he didn't even get hit.
I really don't know what that's about. That was never even spoken upon, as far as why was he moving the way he was? Did he suffer an injury?
Well, he came out with a leg brace on, a knee brace and stuff like that. A soft brace.
We wear braces.
And stuff like that. But even his walk, like if you look at the way he was walking, he was kind of hobbling himself down. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, maybe he got the jitters or something like that. But he just
or it could have been scripted.
Yeah, maybe. Well, listen. So let's get into this a little bit, right? So he has that speech. Hold up, man, because I did bring some notes today because there were things I wanted to make sure I remembered in reference to hold on. So I had it all queued up, and then we had hiccups before we went on live and stuff like that. But so he has does this interview with this young female, like the little girl, and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
yes,
he talks about the legacy.
Yes.
And if anybody ever seen that reel, so I caught the reel. And I didn't actually see the full interview, but I caught the reel.
Yeah.
And of course, the reel is kind of a snapshot in time, but and he's like, "Oh, that's an ego thing," and this, that, and the third, and he doesn't believe in legacy and all that other stuff, and then he starts cussing and shit like that, and it was horrible.
Right.
And so I was kind of like, man,
it's Tyson.
Yeah. Well,
it's not Tyson. You never know what's going to come out of that.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, yo, that brother just wasn't right in the head. I guess I don't know. But what I will say is this. That even the way he talked, I said, myself personally, the only time I've ever heard people talk that way, the losers talk that way. Somebody who knows they're going to lose and stuff like that. They come out talking like that. And I know there's people right now getting really angry that I made that statement, but it's true. Think about it. Think about fighters. Think about the way any fighter talks and stuff like that. Think about any fighter talks about, what they're going to do, how they're going to come out and do it and stuff. And even Mike's career, I mean, as checkered as it was, you know what I'm saying? He was the youngest champion. Like he was, 20 or 21? He was
19.
Yeah, 19, 20. I don't think he was old enough to drink. You know what I'm saying? And stuff. He was the youngest champion ever, heavyweight, and, beat so many phenomenal fighters, and he really did. He had a complicated career. You know what I'm saying? He ended up going to jail and stuff like that. Then he came back and stuff. And I would say, look, even when he took when he did the little rematch sparring matches and stuff like that, those were nice. Those were good for his legacy, right? And stuff like that. Or those are good. And he says, well, I'm doing it for myself. And and I'm like, well, that's still, that's ego. Because he said something about ego in his interview, and I'm like, he says, do it. Anybody saying, well, you do it for yourself, that's ego. It's still your ego. It's my self-worth. It's my self-esteem. I'm doing this for me. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for me, but it's still my ego that says, well, I have to do it for you.
Well, ego is tied to everything. Even it's tied. You can't separate ego. It's how you can control it. And so with Mike, I get where he's coming from. in a sense of what, I mean, we're looking at the legacy as far as what he contribute to boxing. Okay. Now the question is did you raise anyone under your methods? All right. Do you have a family of folks under you following your way?
That was just
and so,
have kids.
and so, yeah,
kids,
but he hasn't. He doesn't want none of his kids to be boxers. He clearly explained that to his son one time because his son wanted to emulate him, and he's like, no. There's a difference. I had to do this. All right. I don't want you to suffer and do what I have to do because I mean you got to think of it, right? And for instance, Michael Jai White, we hear the talk back and forth of why doesn't he compete in MMA, yada 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 yada, and he's not real or this, that, and the third, and it's all bullcrap. And he took the higher road. And the whole point is that listen, most of these guys who fight, they can't even talk straight anymore. Yeah. I mean, listen, you can't even get one word out of Evander Holyfield.
No.
We don't even know if it was a mic issue.
No. They were clowning. I'm like, they were clowning. Lennox, I was the whole
Lennox
time
answering all the questions
because they were clowning. They were just being really. I mean, there were technical difficulties with the whole Netflix, their apparatus and stuff, but.
But even when Lennox leaned over,
every boxer there, every named boxer there was just kind of like, "This is a joke. We're here." Hey. like that was another thing. And again, is if you're a boxing enthusiast like I am, you're like, like you just. I was like, you know when you light a match and blow it out and you get that.
Yeah,
that was me.
I'm sitting here like, what is going on? What is really going on? But once again, we know the high risk of brain damage that comes with it and just personal body injuries.
Yes.
Okay. We know that the risk is very high for that. So why put myself through that? And so him having that talk with his son is like, hey, listen, I suffered a lot. And you have folks who fought Tyson whose bodies are still not the same to this day.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, listen. That was the whole thing, right? That was part of the hype of the fight. Was that all Tyson needed to do is send him give him one good one, and that's it. He's gonna two-piece him up, right, and stuff like that. Now, I personally, it was. I would tell you, as much as I was rooting for Paul to win,
I was Team Tyson.
Listen, I was all about Paul. I'm like, listen, the kid's in his 20s. And Tyson's older than us. No, he can't be. Yeah, maybe he is in his late 50s.
Yeah, he's 58.
Yeah, 58. So he's in his late 50s, and I'm thinking to myself, if this kid can box a little bit, and okay, so one of the things that you gave a credit to, right? You say he beat Diaz, he beat the other dude.
Yeah, he was Golden Gloves champion.
He beat, but he still boxed, so that means he fought boxers,
and
right?
And he took boxing seriously. He got in the training.
Yeah, he got in the training and stuff like that. His brother does stuff too, whatever. So let's.
Logan Paul fought. Who did he fought? I forgot what boxer he fought.
He actually fought a boxer and beat him.
Yeah.
So I always get the Pauls confused though too, because I'm like,
I forgot who
there's a Jake
fought.
Paul and there's a Logan Paul.
I think it was Floyd Mayweather. He fought.
No.
Floyd Mayweather.
Okay, so no, I thought it was this Paul that fought Mayweather.
No, it wasn't.
It was Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
So Logan Paul got his ass beat by Floyd Mayweather.
No. I mean, like according to CompuBox, yes, he definitely.
Listen,
but it went all the way to the end.
No, but that's listen. All right, hold up. Wait a minute. Let's roll that back. All right. Mayweather played with him for every damn round. Mayweather put on a clinic with that ass for every damn round. I'm like, we listen. I will blow it up right here, put it right here, and we could go pound. Like Mayweather, it won a fight. It was more like, hey, a boxing tutorial on what not to do. However, I said the biggest problem with that fight is that Mayweather should have just not two-pieced him, put him on his ass, and called it a day. But simply, that was my ego, right? That was me thinking and not thinking about that payday. Again, Floyd, money, Mayweather. Right. That's why I said that way for a reason. He understands the nature of making some bills, making some money. But that's all Paul could do was hold him each time, right? Because he'd get peppered up and just try to hold him. And he was just surviving and stuff like that. But it was kind of like the Conor McGregor thing. You know what I'm saying? At some point, McGregor tried to Rocky him. And then, Floyd was like, not today, sir.
Yeah. And Jake Paul wanted to fight Floyd Mayweather, but in the cage. And that's when Mayweather said
No, because
ain't gonna
Mayweather,
happen.
yeah, Mayweather's like, are
That's
you
out of
kidding
his
me?
arena.
That was it.
That's-
Yeah, no shit. I mean, that's the same thing with Conor. McGregor said the same thing. Why don't you come over here? We'll do one over here. No.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, yes, stay in your lane, which is why I'll tell somebody in a heartbeat, look, I'll fight anybody in an MMA match, but I'm not a boxer. You tell me, get in the ring and box. Well, you wouldn't box Mike Tyson? Absolutely not. I would not box Mike Tyson.
Well, he was doing a lot of biting on his.
Yeah, but no, I thought it was a mouthpiece issue.
No. If you watch
Even his old stuff, he used to do that. Yeah,
he does that. He has a biting. A tick.
Yeah, it's like
sort.
a tick. It's like a tell.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. They even put it in the video game.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
So it's
that they did
something
about
that he
him.
does.
Yeah, it's something that he does.
That's
yeah.
why he bit. That's why Mike bites, man.
Yeah, Mike
That's
be
why
biting.
he took a
Mike
Van
bites.
Holyfield's
Yeah.
ear.
Well, no, that was frustrating.
The glove wasn't there, so he took the ear.
I would tell you, man, that fight was an amazing fight at the time because everybody had forgot that Evander Holyfield's a boxer.
Oh yes,
You know what I'm saying? He's a heavyweight boxer. You know what I'm saying? It's like when Mike fought Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is a boxer. You know what I'm saying? And they all possess that knockout power in the heavyweight class, but they ain't sluggers. They ain't trying to slug it out.
no.
You know what I'm saying?
But the true definition of boxers.
Yeah, they're real boxers. So that I can get you pop, 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 and then I go back to I'll just start scoring you. You know what I'm saying? If you bring your jaw next to my fist again, I might put you on the canvas. It's one of those kind of things and stuff like that. Man, I love boxing, bro.
No, you know what? I lost my interest with boxing. I mean, I used to watch it back in the '90s, and then I really lost track with a lot of the boxing.
No, I still do. I mean, like mostly because I know what's going on. And so it's kind of like me with rugby or football, soccer, because I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I follow the game. You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. Not saying that you don't. That's not what I'm
I
saying.
don't. I
But-
don't. I'm completely.
I mean, like,
ignorant to who's doing it.
Well, it's understanding how somebody scores too, and like understanding what punch power is, or like what power punching is, and all that other good stuff, and how that could sway a judge and stuff like that. Understanding that was kind of like the Katie fight.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying and stuff like that. Where I was like, well, she was it again. I've always been of the mindset. The way it was always explained to me is, if you're the champion and you're the challenger, well, you got to beat me. I don't have to beat you.
Right.
You have to beat me. So when the judges are watching the fight, they're watching. If it's a close fight, I got the favor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't matter if it's a draw.
Yeah, because I got the favor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the champion.
Right.
Like the champ is here. You got to take the belt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you come in, it's an even split. It's gonna go my way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Konnichiwa, this is Israel Lopez Sensei with the Path to the Maze.
Mr. Stag pitches it, treetops it down, right there, freeze. Now he's got total control of the upper body here.
And over. Which puts me in the reverse case Katami Yashiro. Now from here, this arm, I'm gonna shoot it across. Bring it through. So the throw she's gonna be performing is called Hoshigoroma. She's gonna throw Hoshigoroma. So we see this, and she goes down to the ground. I'm coming in, and I'm throwing her. He's not on top of me. I threw him so hard. Now I won the judo match, but I think I lost the fight in real life, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. I mean, that was always my understanding of it, even though people were really in their feelings about
yeah.
it. It was Facebook.
But it was a good fight. That got me excited.
was-
The second one and the third fight really got me excited for boxing. And
Yeah,
now
well,
it
because
made
that's
me want to
because
pay
of
attention more.
because again, that's what box. That's two good fights, especially the two Mexican brothers.
Yes.
them two knockdowns, man. I was like, I thought he was gonna take boom, but I said, ooh, he hits the ground.
Yo, that was a really good fight.
yes.
They had me on the edge of my seat.
Well, and again, people forget that even in the lighter weight classes, there are knockouts. You know what I'm saying and stuff like that. They're rare because these guys are really ultra conditioned and they're really trying to they're trying to win.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're trying to outscore. Some of these guys they're looking or they were looking towards the Olympics at one point in time, so they understand how to strike, and stay away and score. It's like playing tag, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the point fighting thing from back in the day
Right.
and stuff like that. Yeah. So, we have our guest today. She came out, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. Y'all can't see her, but I can see her.
Yeah.
She came out and stuff, to pay us a little homage.
But reflecting back, on Jake Paul, like I said, at one time, when he was doing celebrity bout matches, that was one side, and I get that. Here's the YouTuber fighting rappers and NBA stars and other athletes. So that was one thing. That was another form of entertainment. But then when he started fighting UFC, MMA fighters, that's when it became a game changer. Like, oh, wait a minute. And then he started winning. You couldn't take anything away from it because he was knocking out champions or TKOs.
He also picks the people he fights. He's not stupid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like,
he's not picking them at their prime.
Oh yeah, no,
like Anderson Silva, prime example.
But in case in point. So now this guy gets to now walk around for the rest of his time and beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah. But it's not official.
Well, no, it doesn't matter.
Official.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I get to now walk around saying, I beat Mike Tyson. You can say whatever you want. It's like Coming to America, right? Yeah. When he's like, oh, anytime the Eddie Murphy's character, anytime that's what they say. Rocky Marciano. That's all they ever say is Rocky Marciano. And he's like, the other dude was like, it was Arsenio Hall, but he's like, yeah, but he beat Joe Louis. You know what I'm saying? Like, so this guy now gets forever to say, I beat Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but no one's going to take it seriously because it wasn't like it was a sanctioned match.
Yeah, so you look that shit up in the Wikipedia now.
It wasn't like it was an official championship kind of thing. And we knew Tyson was completely retired. So
Mike, but here's the thing. At least had made it a match, and I think that was the thing that made me upset about it. It wasn't even a match.
No,
right?
It wasn't.
And it was really just and there are people out there, and I'm going to kind of get into this in a second, because one of our Marshall peers, he had posted some things, and I kind of disagree with what he's saying, and I'm going to break down why I disagree with what he was saying. But ultimately, I think Mike's net worth was $20 million.
Yeah.
Now he's
20 million.
Now he's got 40 on top of that.
Yeah.
So I mean, now he's doing all right. He's a $60 million richer.
Some people say why he doesn't need the money. You don't know what Mike needs.
But listen.
Going
One thing I've learned is when you have that kind of money, you start living that kind of lifestyle. You're paying those kind of taxes. You're doing well. That's if you're paying your taxes. That was a Wesley Snipes jab. But but if you're paying your taxes and you're doing those kinds of things and stuff like that. Now, hold on, let me tell you. Hey, Wesley, we love you, though. You my dude. Just in case. Get a phone call later, like, really? All right, so, but, yeah, I mean, ultimately, yes, you got those bills, you got grandkids, whatever, in legacy, that is leaving your kids well off, doing a little bit better.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, the one thing I will say that he had right was when I die, I take nothing with me.
Right.
When I die, I'm dead.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So mourn me maybe if you want to, but I'm dead. I don't care. I'm dead. You know what I'm saying? No one's ever came back and said, hey, well, you know what? I was really upset that y'all didn't mourn me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if that happened, your house is haunted.
Yeah, but yeah, like you doing seances and Ouija boards, something like, right? But it really made me think though, the whole thing, because again, I had to stew in my juices and I took some time. Actually, I would tell folks this is maybe the third recording of this episode, because the first one, y'all don't want to see that one. It was just hamburger. I was so mad. That was the night of. There was levels of anger. It was like Dragon Ball Z. I was like, oh, Super Saiyan. Oh, so angry. But then I took some time to meditate on it. So one of our Marshall peers, he had wrote. He titled it A Senior Moment. And I'm going to kind of read some of this verbatim. It says, he starts off with getting into like Mike answering the girl truthfully about his legacy. And he was like, who cares? And this goes back to, when I personally feel like that, if Mike being Mike, but it was still like, it was just poor taste. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean, that
Absolutely.
it was just,
But it's Mike being Mike.
yeah, poorly done, poorly done. I mean, he could do better and stuff like that. I mean, ultimately, she had a point though. Listen, for our generation, Mike was the man. You know what I'm saying? Some even said he was one of the greatest. He is the greatest. I've actually heard people make that statement, the greatest boxer of all time. And I'm like, are you kidding? But
within their generation.
but within their generation, right? It's the Mike.
Yeah.
It's
I've
Iron
never
Mike,
seen
Iron
no one
Mike
do what he
Tyson.
was able to do.
You know what I'm saying?
Not like that.
Yeah.
Not in my time.
I mean, unless you were Buster
Yeah.
Douglas.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Buster
no, I
Douglas?
don't
Yeah. I had to say that because that dude, he disappeared.
Yeah.
But he will always be able to say, I knocked out Mike
He
Tyson.
did. And that was official, though. That was official.
I knocked Mike Tyson out. We still think that was a trash fight.
It was-
Those of us
but
who watched
still.
that, Mike was sick.
He
They
took-
said he had been out partying though. I
Hey,
guess I
hey.
found that out way later in
Okay.
life. But
Well, that's-
but he had been
that's-
out partying.
that's on
and-
Mike.
Yeah, that's on
That's on
Mike.
Mike.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just remember he didn't look right and stuff like that. And he still tapped Buster, and Buster was on the ground. So I was really upset. Yeah. But anyway, so. My Marshall Peer goes on to talk about how that Mike taking this fight was Mike's way of living again, and I had an issue when my Marshall
think
brother
that's
said that.
true.
Well, because Mike, when he said to the little girl, he said, "This is not about ego." Right? If it's not about ego, then why did he take the fight to live again? He didn't take the fight to live again. I think he took the fight for a payday. He understood. He understood what I'm quite sure. I can almost see the conversation. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Mike Tyson? I've heard about you, this, that, and the third. I have an idea, but you already know what I'm doing. And we can make some money. I'm quite sure you like some money. Mike was like, yeah, I like some money. We can make some money. We're going to do a thing. We'll build it up. We'll hype it. We'll talk about it. Listen, this is me on social media. And Mike's going, yo, okay. I like what you're smelling right here. I like what you're selling right now. All right. Yeah, we can do a thing. We can do a thing. All right. Yeah, you guys talk to my guys and my guys. I'm not going to fake and do the Mike Tyson voice because I just feel like that's inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? And that's where that went.
No. That's what I feel that's what I feel happened.
Yeah.
It was some backdoor type conversation. Right moment, right time, however it was planned, and it's an easy payday. And I mean, it's an
and we
easy
all
payday.
tuned in. And we all tuned
Yeah,
in.
we all tuned in, even though Netflix crashed. All right.
Yeah, we broke Netflix.
Yeah.
We all tuned in.
I mean, it was like 60 million people
Yeah.
tuned in, and so now this was a shot because Netflix made out.
Oh yeah, well now listen.
All right.
All Netflix needs to do is take out the time and get real technology,
And
then
that's it.
we okay.
And that's it because I mean, Amazon Prime is already doing this where you
Yeah.
can watch Prime fights,
Yeah, Prime
and all
fights.
that. Whether you're paying to watch those fights or you're just paying your Prime subscription, one or the other. Because I get the fights free
Mm-hmm.
because I paid my subscription. But then there's the prize fights that come up where you may have to pay for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You may have to pay for them.
Stop
So,
that.
hey, relax, Gaia.
Sorry, I'm going over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Get Gaia in trouble. This is Brock Yashidoshi's dog. It's not that.
Doing
but
too
it's-
much.
It's the baby girl.
Yeah.
And stuff. But
But yeah, no, I mean, they made out like a fat rat. But, Tyson made his quick 20 mil. This fella made 40 mil.
Yeah, so, I mean-
come on.
Well,
He knows what he's doing.
That's just that he knew what he was doing, and I think I'm raw. I'm feeling raw because I got hustled. I feel like I got hustled. So-
Well, it's a fantasy match. I mean, listen, I knew it was going. For me personally, they were like, "Is this going to be a real fight?" And I was like, "Well, it's a sanctioned fight. It should be real."
Well, at this
but
point-
some people were like, because WWF, WWE. Well, that's not real wrestling. It's fake. But
yeah. Sean
but
was
it's-
here.
it's-
Sean might disagree.
it's
but
entertainment.
It's scripted. Yes.
It's
yeah.
entertainment.
I'm like, because gravity. Yes. If you jump on somebody and land on
Yeah.
their neck.
Yeah.
They dead.
Yeah, so we know
But
it's
you can't fake
entertainment,
getting hit
and
by a
you-
chair.
And you're really hurting people. I mean, you're making contact.
Yeah.
We know. You're trained for this. But the point is that it's entertainment. It's entertainment,
Yeah. No,
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I do. The theme of the episode was is age and number.
Yeah.
So, and I do. I will tell you that if we're talking about fighting or addressing a combative situation or a situation out in the real world, right? I really want to move away from calling it real life fighting, even though we say it all the time, because two guys throwing fisticuffs up like that, yeah, it's a fight, but it's just kind of like a war of attrition, right? Why would you do that? It's not effective combatives, right? So like that. Normally, it's effective combatives is you went like this, and I said, huh. And fight's over, right? But the average fight lasts how long? 2 minutes,
Give or take, doesn't last long.
it doesn't last long. It's pretty quick, you know. And with that being said, if we're looking at that, then I would say yes, age is but a number. But now, if we're talking about something like a boxing match, wrestling match, a judo match, any sport like MMA fight, where now you got to last 5 minutes, or you got to knock that dude out pretty damn quick, or submit him pretty fast.
Right.
But you got to last 5 minutes.
Right.
Now age starts to become a factor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some guys that are phenomenal. And I'm talking about an average.
They have amazing genetics.
Yeah, they have an amazing genetics. They're getting in there. They're still grappling, and they're just as hardcore as they were way back in the day, right? When they were in the 20s. This guy's like 60, 70 years old, and he's still getting in there, tangling it up, you know, and stuff like that. But it's rare. It's very rare. So rare, the exception doesn't make the rule because it's that rare.
Right.
You know?
Even science tells you we degrade. I mean, scientists are working now trying to lengthen our age in our degeneration, you know. So we break down. Our cells break down naturally as we get older. Our bones are no longer as dense as it used to be.
Yeah.
Our joints, I mean, especially doing something what we do, a lot of wear and tear. All right. If you're doing it at high capacity.
Not prone to injury. Injury takes
right.
longer or doesn't heal at all.
Right. And you're not getting the therapy to to go along with that, because I know back in the day we were training hard, but not a lot of us were seeing doctors. Not a lot of us were going to see masseuse. Not a lot of
Well,
us
yeah, I
were
mean,
getting all that kind of.
No,
No, we weren't getting that kind of treatment. All right, at all. There was no school doc. or anything like that. So yes, no, a lot of us, especially in our generation, we're worn down. Some of us still can keep it 100, but I'm going to tell you, even myself, my joints kill.
Well, yeah, I mean, because ultimately, like I said, we've gotten older. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. You know, we're not trying to take falls like that, especially judo. Nagi komi is a pain in the ass. You know what I'm saying? You go through a full session of X amount of falls, maybe 100 falls. After that class, you're done for a week or so.
Yeah.
You know? So that depending on who you are. So
Right.
yes, I would tell folks that age is a number when it comes to combatives. You know,
When it comes to competition,
yes. When it comes to competition, age is a factor. It's like weight and size and all that stuff. Age becomes a factor, and this was a really good example of that. Like I said, you watch the fight to the point where, like you said, people say, "Oh, well, the fight must have been fixed." No, I said, no. What you saw was a 20-something-year-old dude, or late 20s, so let's call him 30, and a late 50s, call him 60. So you saw a 30-year age difference, basically, of these two guys, and that's what you were looking at. You know what I'm saying? An old person getting it. And don't get me wrong, Tyson was amazing that first round. Then you start to see.
right?
Start taking more and more effect. This is Paul moving around the ring, making him chase him.
Yeah.
Tyson.
Your target is not still.
Your target's not still. There's a lot of emotion, especially and I would say there's a difference between when you're training and when you're actually fighting.
Two different worlds,
Yeah.
and some people confuse that. They easily confuse that. You see some guy hitting a bag, whoa, and they're like, you see how hard he's hitting that bag. You see what he's doing. Look at how his focus work is, and then you see him in the ring, and you don't see none of that. Not like that.
Well, even my own life, I said, in the dojo, I got good endurance. Awesome. You fight less than 3 minutes. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
stuff like that. Like,
Right.
you just expand energy. There's emotions that get into play.
Yeah.
And, that takes away some more energy, and stuff like that.
It's one thing when you're sparring, and it's another thing when you're fighting.
Yeah.
For a championship, or even in the sport context. Because if you spar good, then you should be able to fight. And I'm like, oh no, some people get complacent.
Well, yeah, listen, there are guys that have gotten clapped up quick in real life simply because they couldn't
Right.
respond that way in a real
Right.
fight.
Right.
Because they hadn't been in a real situation.
Or a champ gets tapped up and ran dirty, or sparring, and it's like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, well,
That's
damn,
the champ, and
That's
you
the champ. You just threw him? You just threw him like 15 times. Oh, wow. How's that guy the champ? And then, of course, you go to have a match with him, and he throws you every time.
It's like, what happened? What happened? What's the difference?
Yeah,
there's plenty.
Yeah, there
There's
are plenty of
of
differences.
contrast.
Yes, there really are.
Yep.
And stuff. And it's, there are folk that really don't know or don't understand that difference.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So,
I say when we get older, as we get older, we start to become more intelligent on how we do what we do. All right, there are techniques that I used to do when I was younger that I don't do now.
well, yeah, because I mean,
I'll teach
well,
them.
yeah, you get wiser. You realize that, okay, well, now we have one of our martial peers, or one of our other martial peers, he always says it all the time, addressing situations, right? He kind of coins it, Haskins, he talks about it all the time, stuff like that, addressing the situation. Just I address situations. But he's not the only person that says it. There's a whole lot of other people that say the very same thing because it's true.
Yeah.
The better you get at something, when you get to understand, even Bruce Lee said it, the goal is to not have a technique. There is no technique.
Yeah, you lose it.
Right? Because I'm addressing a situation. I'm just addressing situations now. I don't have a what's the word I'm looking for?
Preconceived notion, premeditated thought, or any of those things. Like what I tell my students is that it's all improv. That's all it is. That everything we're dealing with in the real life is all improv. And it's how well, if you know your principle, technique. Technique will find its place. It's improv, but it's your principle. And if you have a solid principle, then you're gonna be on top, depending on who gets there first. And that's where technique comes in. All right. And so I make that kind of comparison with mathematics, where we have our principles of multiplication, okay, but in division, in the power 4, division and subtraction and addition. But how we get there, which is technique, is a whole nother thing.
Yes.
So now another person may have a quicker way to get to that answer than you, because you were doing it the traditional way you learned in your elementary school. And
Yes.
then you have other kids like right now where we do Common Core, so we do it this way. And it's like, whoa, even to me, because I'm old school, I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I just learned something.
Well, yeah, or like I was having this conversation the other day, and we were talking about how somebody comes along and gives you sound martial stratagems, right? Or gives you a sound way of doing something, and how easily you see somebody default back to what they were doing the whole time, even though they just got something, they just got the nugget that made it happen. And I personally, like I was saying, I personally believe it's a lot of us. Well, there's a whole lot of us that really don't understand. I think a lot of us, because I used to do it back in the day, we overteach.
Yep.
Or we don't understand the learning process,
We give too many
how people learn.
techniques.
Well, just yeah, but I mean, just learning in general. Like the God rest his soul, Rob Riley, sensei. Before he passed, I remember he was telling me about the. I like using the riding the bike story, the analogy, because it makes the most sense to me anyway. Maybe our listeners, maybe it makes more sense to you. Here's the thing: your parents have never taught you how to ride a bike. You learn how to ride a bike, and so what do you mean? Well, so think about it. Your parents will talk to you about the concept of balance, right? They put the training wheels on and stuff like that. But you have to learn how to catch that balance on your own. They kind of can hold you and kind of try to steer you, but you have to understand it. Because as soon as they let you go, what happens? If you don't understand that information, you fall. So you start to learn how to balance yourself, right? Then you also understand how to make the bike go, because you learn they tell you, you got to pedal. And this is how you steer the bike. You're going to turn it, and then sometimes if you want to turn, if you turn it too much, you're going to fall off it. So you have to learn how to lean into the turn. And so, but that's more. And you learn. But even though I can tell you all those things, you have to learn those things.
You got to feel it.
Yeah, you have to feel it. You have to experience it on your own. So you have to learn it. So circling back, so this Rob tells this to me, and this I start thinking about this. And my wife, who's an educator, this, and says, it's the same way in regular education. The reason why we give kids homework, or the reason why we give them a word, like tons of different word problems. She says, I don't like giving them tons of different word problems. Give you enough to see if you understood
Exactly, the
it's
principle.
the principle, and more importantly, can you apply it? So you still have to have time to learn it. So you have to take time to grasp whether you're counting with your fingers, and understand the different algorithms you're going to use to be successful, and stuff like that with math, right? So it's the same in martial arts. It's the same when you learn anything. You have to learn it. I already know that. I already have the information. Right. So I give you a couple of examples of how to use this information. But you still have to take the time out to meditate and learn it. The problem is that most of the martial arts community are lazy and they want to be spoon-fed technique. They don't want to meditate on it. They don't want to have to think about it. And again, because
They want you to hold their hand.
well, no,
all
it's
the
not.
way
Well,
through.
it's not that. It's because we don't look at martial arts the same way we look at academia. We don't hold it in the same level. Some do. Some of us do. Right, and then we call them martial scientists. Even when we found ways to even break that down, instead of just saying, "Man, this is all martial arts."
Right.
That no, we'll say to make everybody kind of feel all right. Right. We go, well, no, it's a Big Ten. Everybody can be in this Big Ten, and so we're going to call you a martial scientist because you spend time understanding the process, understanding the learning, and all that other good stuff. And that's why not every teacher teaches well.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For just the very same reason, because we're like me back in the day. I would spend a lot of time over teaching. Stop, guys! You're not getting this. Instead of just here it is, I'm gonna let you go. Eventually, you'll get it.
There you go. There you go. And then what I do is I add eye drops of information as you go.
Yes. Once you grasp one concept, then okay, now I can add something to it.
Yes.
And this is another thing we're going to do, and this is another tool. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. But I ultimately think that's one of the biggest issues with martial arts. And again, and you see
Well,
it.
it's how you've been taught.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you look at the common school that you go. I mean, come on, we jump from dojo to dojo. We've seen a lot, and so how you were raised in the martial arts, how I was raised in the martial arts, it's not the same on what you see in a lot of these schools today. Not the same. It is a lot of holding hand and nursing and a lot of breastfeeding.
Yeah, but and I do. And because again, I was having this conversation with Randy, and I like something that he said, and I'm gonna say it again because it made so much sense to me. Do you know we're the only industry that does that? Martial arts is the only industry that does that thing where we do it this way in our school, or we do it that way in our school, or we literally, right?
Yeah.
And his analogy is this. And anybody listening to this, check it out, because it's not mine. I love to take credit for this because this is genius. Oops. It's genius now. See, I got to put that F rating now. Son of a B. I might have to bleep that one out. All right. So, because it really is. And if I go to Putnam Vocational High School and learn to be an auto mechanic, right? And you go to, just for shits and giggles, Porter and Chester and become an auto mechanic. At the end of the day, we both have the same information. Even though we went to two distinctly different places to learn, we walk away with it with the same information. And we approach how am I going to do this alternator? We have almost the same kind of way of going, even though we're from different ends of a spectrum, right? And stuff like that, right? We're the only industry where that doesn't happen.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Where we literally will spend more time trying to say what's different than what's the same.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to, well, look, the human body hasn't changed, right? So there's only so many ways to punch.
Right.
And you're addressing a punch. And the whole idea is for me to address a situation, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or case of musical theory, right? Doesn't matter what instrument you play or where you went to. You still learn chord structure. You still learn how to harmonize. You still have to learn, right?
What I say is that you don't need 300 damn techniques for 300 punches or 300 attacks.
Well, yeah, that's just
You
it.
should need 1 or 2 or maybe 3 at most for 300 attacks.
Well, yeah, because you understand. You understand if this situation, it's easier to address a situation and have things that address the situation, gross and fine. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, ultimately, I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I just, like I said, I like that. I like that analogy only because it's a truth to it. And then the problem is is that when you have conversations with other martial artists and you explain that to them, because I've gotten into heated debates with other martial artists where I've said, yeah, but this is actually correct. This is the correct use of that particular tool.
That's because they didn't learn principle. They only learned technique.
Well, yeah, because spoon-fed.
And that's exactly
I-
where
yeah,
the split comes in.
Well, I never had to meditate on the information. I never had to learn it since they just gave it to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I always go back to the Osotogari because it's the funniest thing because I see it so much where a guy will punch a person in the stomach and then throw them on Osotogari.
After their energy is
They're
going
in the
forward.
opposite damn direction. And then you go, okay, that works well in demonstration. Try it in real life. And then when it doesn't work in real life, then they go, okay, and then they say, oh, then maybe try the Otoshi.
Right. I mean,
stuff like that. Then
it's
it-
real simple.
yeah.
Where the head goes, the body goes.
Yeah.
Take them in the direction.
Well, I said even the Otoshi because most people don't realize there's a difference between the two throws and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, most will say, well, that's an Osotogari. It's the way we were taught Osotogari. And I'm like, no, that's an Osoto Otoshi. Where does Uki's body go? Where does the person you're doing the technique, right? Did he go that way to his right rear corner or did he drop straight down? Well, if he's dropping straight down, that's an Otoshi. It's good to know the name.
Yeah.
So that way, and well, what does it matter? And I will say
matters.
this because I have said this. I've said this as recently as class on Monday, and I said to the students there, when it comes to fighting, who gives a shit what technique you used, right? It worked. Whatever worked that got you home safe to stand there, whatever worked that got you the medal, that got you the title, that got the submission and stuff like that, whatever worked, right? And that would be your takeaway, right? If that's all you really care about, right? It's winning and losing. Then you really don't need to care about what the name of the throw is. But if you want to get better at something or have a better understanding of how that worked and stuff like that, then you would start to go, okay, oh, well, I'm going to name a thing. All right. So this, case in point, the construct of numbers or letters. You know what I'm saying? That's how we make words, or that's how we do our math, right? We use this construct in order. So me talking to someone about, well, the difference between the Osotogari is the balance is going this way, where the off balance is going this way, where the Otoshi balance is dropping straight down, or the Gake is where my foot's there and I just push them down. I kind of lock and
They go
push them
over the
straight
cliff.
down. Yeah, and stuff like that. And they have different names based upon different things that I'm doing.
Feelings, expressions.
Yes. Or one could say, well, I'm addressing different situations and I'm using the similar set of movements to address different situations.
Right.
But I'm going to now address them each one differently. So
I would say this to end it on this note. Also, it's about how much do you really care about your system when you don't take the time to know what the hell you're doing. All right, period. It's respect for what you're learning and the information that's been handed down to you. So I would think you would like to get your terminology correct. You would like to get your pronunciation correct as well, to show respect for the system that you're learning and the lineage as well. So,
Legacy.
And once again, yes. And once again, too, if you can do that with science, come on, listen, if you say something wrong in science, there is no, well, no, this is how we do it in science. No, if you pronounce something wrong and you were like, I don't know, you said centripetal or something like that. And I'm like, wow, you said that entirely wrong. All right.
What do you mean? I can't ask you a
Centripetal.
question?
Yeah. But it's like you said that whole force, that kind of force, you didn't even pronounce it correct. So this is how you pronounce it. Well, no, this is how we pronounce it. No. There is no other way to pronounce it.
This
You
is the way
said
it's
it
pronounced.
wrong.
Yeah, you just said it wrong, man.
No.
Correct it. Don't double down.
Don't do that. And so, yes, why is this always happening in martial arts? Because there is no regulations, all right? And anyone can create any system and do that. Now, you'll have a problem and people do still slip under the cracks, but you will have a problem if it is a recognized system.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a recognized system and you're saying this is the rank you hold, then a lot of question marks will come into play based on it. Wait a minute, hold on. Who, what, where? All right, now you got me questioning because that how you did, I don't even know where that came from. So that's where how should I say, we have our safe keys. So like if anyone was doing what I was doing, whether it was some form of jujutsu, taijutsu. There's certain terminology, there's certain expressions, there's a lot of little nuances to know, oh, you did train under such and such, or okay, I see how you did that. All right, I get it. Everyone has a John Hancock, is what I like to say, in their system. And so when you're not doing it, I can say you got your own expression, that's perfectly fine. But when there are pieces missing, then you know that, okay, this person obviously, I don't know where he got it from. Maybe he got it from a video or something, because he's not clear enough in explaining what is happening here. It's like that piece of information is vital and that person doesn't have that information. Why is that missing? Because you can't finish the rest of the technique without that. And that's the reason why that throw that you're doing or that joint lock you're doing is nonsense. It wouldn't work for real.
Oh yeah, and then like I said, the issue's always been once you point that part out, you watch them auto reset, and it goes back to. But in our school, we and yeah,
And there you have it.
and there you have it. So with that being said, he's back. We're back. We're doing the thing. The standalone episodes are all right too. I'm like, I just kind of.
I love them.
Like,
I
yeah,
like
yeah.
them.
You know, I just
I'm gonna start doing them too.
Well, you're supposed to be doing them.
I'm
That
gonna
was the whole
start doing
thing.
the
I said
solo.
not
You
everybody,
got me
not
started,
everybody,
yeah.
not everybody wants
Yeah.
to see me. I'm like, I get the emails. I'm like, where's Barack? Y'all, what's up? I'm like, yeah, we're in 2 different locations. So, I'm with Barack Yalad Chidoshi,
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei,
and you've been listening to
the Marshall Maze.
Yeah.